nervous system. Remember, the nervous system consists of two parts. It has two types. The one is called as the
Central nervous system.
central nervous system.
Yes, sir.
And the second one is called as the
Peripheral.
peripheral nervous system, CNS and PNS.
Yes, sir.
Then the central nervous system again consists of the
Two parts.
it has two parts, two types. Number one is the brain. It consists of the brain and spinal cord. And the peripheral nervous system again has two parts.
Yes, sir.
The cranial nerves
Yes, sir.
and the peripheral nerves. The cranial nerves are 12 in number, and the peripheral nerves are 31 pairs. On both sides, they are in pair form. On both sides, they occur on both sides of the spinal cord. The cranial nerves are 12, starting from the olfactory, optic, oculomotor.
Yes, sir.
Then fourth one is the vestibulocochlear, trigeminal, abducent, facial.
Yes, sir.
The eighth one is the
What do you become?
the eighth cranial nerve. Olfactory, optic, oculomotor. Trochlear,
Occipital.
fourth one. Then the fifth one, the trigeminal, abducent. Seven is the facial. Then vestibulocochlear. Then ninth one is the glossopharyngeal. 10th is the vagus. 11th is accessory, and 12th is the hypoglossal. So there are 12 cranial nerves. So you should know these cranial nerves on your fingertips.
Yes. Yes.
Then the peripheral nerves, they are towards the periphery, starting from emerging from the spinal cord. On both sides, they occur in pair form. On both sides of the spinal cord.
Yes, sir.
Coming toward the central nervous system, it consists of the brain and spinal cord.
Yes.
The brain is the main center which controls different functions.
Yes, sir.
Different functions inside the central nervous system.
Yes, sir.
And the spinal cord is the elongation of the brain stem, which then continues and end up to the
Body.
tail. Then coming towards the structure of a typical neuron. Coming towards the structure of a typical neuron. How a neuron looks like. Structure of a neuron. अच्छा, आपको पता होगा न्यूरॉन जो है वो कैसे होता है. So let's draw a diagram of the neuron.
Yes. Then write an example.
It represents like this. This is the cell body of the neuron, and these are the emerging fibers from the cell body, which are called dendrites, axially. Then this whole fiber from the cell body up to the end, this is called as the axon.
Yes,
This
sir.
is called as the
Exam.
axon fiber.
Yes, sir.
And axon has its own function of impulse transmission.
Yes, sir. Exam terminal 2.
These are called
Dendrites.
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 These are called dendrites. This fiber is called axon, and these are called
Exam terminal.
Tendons.
axon terminals.
Yes, sir.
These are axon terminals.
Yes, sir.
So, because these again make a connection with another,
Yes, sir.
where it forms connection?
Dendrites of another exam.
Dendrites of another
Exam.
Neuron.
Another neurons.
another neuron.
Another neuron bone.
Again, repeat that.
Exam terminal attached to another neuron.
Synapse
Dendrites
junction
by
between
the
neurons.
synapse gaps.
With another neuron.
Yes, sir.
So, with the neuron, which part of the neuron?
Neuron, the dendrites.
Exam terminal.
Dendrites. Dendrites and
Of
exam
another
terminal.
neuron.
Yes, sir.
Then, where it forms connection? These dendrites.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Where it forms connection?
The
With other
other
neurons.
axon.
Exam terminal.
Another axon terminal.
Yes, sir.
Hmm? Yes. So it is a continuation, like it behaves like an electric wire.
Yes, sir.
Remember, it behaves like an electric wire.
Yes, sir.
If a current flow in the electric wires and the electrons in the electric wire, they
Yes, sir.
carries
Impulse.
the current flow.
Yes, sir.
They carries the current flow and passing this information from one electron to other, and the other passes to the next.
Yes, sir.
The next pass to the next electron,
Yes.
and there will be a uniform flow of the current inside a wire. So it represents like the electric wire.
Yes, sir.
So this is the axon terminal, and it is lined by a sheath. This axon terminal is lined by a sheath, which is a protective
Yes, sir.
sheath.
Yes, sir. Mining sheet.
And this protective layer is called
Mining sheet.
myelin sheath.
Yes, sir.
So it is basically provides the
Two arms, sir.
this provides the protection to the axonic fibers. And if there is degeneration of the myelin sheath, then what happens? If there is degeneration of the myelin sheath, अगर myelin sheath की degeneration हो जाए तो क्या हो सकता है? There will be restriction, and there will be blockage of the message,
Yes, sir.
or there will be blockage of the impulses in the axonic fiber.
Yes, sir.
But depends upon the pathology, depends upon the damage.
Yes, sir.
If it is slightly damaged,
Yes,
then messages will be passed,
Yes,
but
sir.
they will be slow.
Yes, sir.
The messages will be slow.
Random.
And if it is completely, you can say damaged, then if there is complete damage of the myelin sheath, then what happens?
5 to 6
Then
days.
the axonic fiber will be exposed to the
Yes, sir. Stolen.
diseases, exposed to the disease,
Yes,
exposed to problem. Then there will be restriction of the message. There will
Yes,
be
sir. Blockage.
blockage of the message.
Yes, sir.
So we can say that the message can't pass.
Yes, sir.
मैसेज इसमें जो है वो प्रॉपर्ली पास नहीं हो सकता.
Yes, sir.
ठीक है.
Yes,
तो
sir.
या तो दो बातें हैं, या तो इम्पल्स जो है इसके अंदर स्लो हो जाएगी, या जो है ये मुकम्मल स्टॉप हो जाएगी, यानी फर्दर जो है इट विल नॉट प्रोसीड.
Yes, sir.
तो डिपेंड करता है.
Yes,
और
sir.
अगर एग्जाम फाइबर, क्योंकि बिकॉज अगर माइलिन शीट नहीं होगी तो एग्जाम जो है ये बहुत ज़्यादा फिर प्रोन हो जाएगा,
Yes, sir.
मसले की तरफ जाएगा. तो इसमें फिर जो फ्लो है इम्पल्सेस का वो प्रॉपर नहीं होगा, या तो स्लो हो जाएगा या जो है मुकम्मल ख़त्म हो
Yes,
जाएगा.
sir.
जिस तरह की एक इलेक्ट्रिक वायर
Yes, sir.
इलेक्ट्रिक वायर पार्शियली डैमेज है, करंट तो फ्लो करेगी लेकिन मतलब उसकी स्पीड
Yes,
उतनी
sir.
यूनिफॉर्मिटी या उतनी उसके साथ नहीं होगी, फास्ट नहीं होगा,
इसमें इतनी कैपेसिटी नहीं होती।
उतनी कैपेसिटी पे उसमें उस तरह नहीं होती जिस तरह की एक नॉर्मल इलेक्ट्रिक वायर में होती है। लेकिन अगर एक इलेक्ट्रिक वायर,
Yes,
the
sir.
electric wire is cut completely, then there will what happens to the electric wire?
No
Yes, sir.
current.
No current will flow
Yes,
in the
yes, sir.
electric wire. So same scenario, same is the case with the
Yes, sir.
myelin sheath of the axona and or the axonic fibers.
Yes, sir.
यहाँ तक समझ आ गई? So there are different types of the neurons.
Yes, sir.
Types of neurons. Coming towards the types of neurons. The one is called as the sensory neuron.
Yes, sir.
The second one is called as the intern neuron.
Yes, sir.
Or associative neuron. And the third one is called as the motor neuron.
Yes, sir.
Now, if you describe one starting from the sensory neuron,
Yes.
the sensory neuron, it links with the sensory information from parts of the body towards the central nervous system, towards the brain.
Yes, sir.
It carries impulses from different parts of the body. Either if it is internal or external, it moves to the central nervous system. And what happens in the central nervous system? There is cerebral hemisphere. There are cerebral hemisphere, two cerebral hemisphere, the right and left. There, through the sensory fibers, the message that is the efferent pathway or the efferent pathway.
Efferent pathway.
Efferent pathway, because the message moves from the receptors through which it is perceived,
Yes.
and it moves towards the central nervous system.
Yes.
And in the central nervous system, there are two hemispheres, the right and left,
Yes.
where it integrates.
Yes.
This message then integrates in the cerebral hemisphere that something is happening to you, or something is happening to your body or
Yes,
your
sir.
parts.
Yes, sir.
For example, if you are feeling the hot and cold sensation of the atmosphere or the environment,
Yes, sir.
then what happens? There are sensory neurons in your skin, and it perceives the hot and cold sensation, and this message flows through the sensory nerve fibers into the central nervous system or the brain,
Yes,
and
sir.
there it integrates inside the cerebral hemisphere. And then the response is created to the motor fibers
Yes, sir.
that there is cold or hot.
Yes, sir.
So reflexes are different. Reflexes are different from
Yes, sir.
these information.
Yes.
Say for example, the reflex response is different. Say for example, if you touch a hot object
Yes, sir.
and you suddenly withdraw your hand,
Yes, sir.
it means that you perceive that hot or cold sensation.
Yes, sir.
And what happens? This message flow in the sensory fibers moves in the central nervous system, and then it integrates in the cerebral hemisphere. And then through the efferent fiber,
Yes, sir.
it will move as a motor neuron or motor nerve fiber.
Yes, sir.
The message will move, convey to the effectors, and you will withdraw your hand.
Yes,
Suddenly
sir.
withdraw your
Yes,
hand.
sir.
And this message or this activity happens in seconds,
Yes.
in microseconds,
Yes, sir.
and you withdraw your hand. So this is basically a reflex action. This is the response. So this response is basically creates a reflex, which is called as a
Yes.
reflex action.
Sudden
So
change
there is
movement.
a sudden chaining movement. If you are
Yes, sir.
contraction,
relaxation.
yes,
Yes.
and there is also the vigorous movement of the muscle, the skeletal muscle.
Yes, sir.
This is the vigorous muscle activity. If you remember the biomechanics or the kinesiology
Yes,
movement
sir.
that we are utilizing aggressive or excitement
Yes, sir.
activity during the excitement activity, or
Yes,
if
sir.
you are going to be so aggressive and you are suddenly
Yes, sir.
pull your hand,
Yes.
then there will be a vigorous activity of the muscles.
Yes, sir. It is also.
So it is, you can say that this is because of the impulses that travels to the brain and then
Yes, sir.
make a response, and that response creates a reflex, which is called a reflex action, and you withdraw your hand. So this is basically this is the sensory fiber. This is the
Sensory.
action or role of the
Sensory.
sensory nerve or neurons.
Yes, sir.
Then there are the interneurons or associative neurons. Similarly, we have also talked about the motor neuron.
Yes.
And there is a third neuron which is present in between the two, the sensory and the motor neuron. That's why it is called as the interneuron, not the intraneuron. Because if you are talking about the intra means within a thing. If you are talking with, if we are thinking about something that's happening inside a cell, say for example, then it means if we say that intracellular, then it means that within the cell,
Yes, sir.
not in between the cells.
Yes, sir.
So inter means between the two things, and intra means within a cavity or within a cell. We are talking about the activities which are happening inside the cell or within the cell, and between the two things. It's called inter.
Yes, sir.
So these are the interneurons or associative neurons which associates or links or make a relation between the sensory and motor neurons. So that's why they are called interneurons.
Yes, sir.
Then there are different, you can say, lobes in the central nervous system. The frontal lobe,
Yes, sir.
the two parietal lobes, one occipital lobe,
Yes, sir.
and two temporals, the right and left.
Yes, sir.
And they have different function. Remember, if we are drawing a diagram of the brain, then you will easily understand the structure. So the brain is just like this. There are many convolutions of the meninges of the brain. Then if we draw an imaginary head of a person, say for example, this is the brain. It
Yes.
represents a brain.
Yes, sir.
And these are the hemispheres, cerebral hemisphere. And here there is another structure which lies posterior, a big part of the brain which lies posterior to it.
Yes, sir.
Which is called as the cerebellum. This is the cerebellum. Here in front there is a structure which is then elongated. You are clear with the diagram?
Yes, yes, sir.
Let me draw with another mark. This structure represents the bones. This structure represents the bones. Here is the midbrain. And this one is called as the brainstem.
Yes, sir.
There are two hemispheres, the right and and left. Right and left cerebral hemispheres. Which have the function of skill movements, enhancing movements, which helps in language, which helps in memory.
Yes, sir.
That is present here. And what about you can say the cerebellum? In the previous class we have talked about this R,
Yes, sir.
the function of the cerebellum. The cerebellum works to coordinate your body movements.
Yes, sir.
It has work in that, it has function in the coordination of movement,
Yes, sir.
sequencing of movement, ordering of movement, correct your posture, and makes these sequences, these orders. This is the function of the cerebellum. Say for example, if you are observing athletes, that will train athletes in your daily life, and you will see his functions, his muscular activities. Say for example, he is running marathon and he is running, and he runs to 40 kilometers, 30 kilometers, or 50, 60 kilometers. So his muscular power will be more as compared to the normal person, and he is very much strengthened. So his motor units inside the muscles are greater in number, and the muscle power will be greater
Yes.
inside the muscle, and also the strength will be greater. So alternately say that the strength of the muscle is greater
Strong.
as compared to the normal person,
Yes.
and the muscle will be more bulky. So similar with the heart rate will be, you can say that it is that will be controllable, and the heart muscles will be more.
Yes, sir.
The myocardium, the heart muscles, that will be enlarged in size. The heart muscles will be enlarged in size. They will be bulky. The function will be more as compared to a normal person, and it functions well. It will be more muscular. The person will be more muscular. The limbs will be more strong. His respiratory rate will be more, you can say, strengthening. That will be more sufficient for him. And also there will be changes inside the bone mass density. The density of the bones
Yes.
will be greater as compared to a normal person. The bones will be strong, and his age also matters. His age will be prolonged, and that person endurance will also be exceeded than a normal person endurance. So that is a running marathon. And what about the cerebellum of that athlete? The cerebellum will be too strengthened. That will be too highly trained. The cerebellum of that person will be highly trained, because he has different sequencing of movement. While he is moving, or while he is running, he is performing different activities: abduction, adduction, flexion, extension, rotation. All sort of movements are taking place inside his body. So the cerebellum of that athlete or that person will be more developed or more skilled as compared to a normal person. And what about the posterior lobe of the brain? That is the occipital lobe,
Yes.
and that lobe functions as to control the vision.
Yes.
This is the center for vision. Center for vision. So it controls your vision. If certain injury occurs to the head,
Yes, sir.
to the posterior aspect of the head, if there is falling injury or there is RTA, that is the roadside accident, then what happens? If there is severe blow to the head,
Yes.
then there may be loss of the vision.
Yes, sir.
There may be loss of the vision.
Yes, sir.
Remember, your language is also present in the brain, language area. If it is, you can say, compromised, then you can't speak. Your speech will be slurred or stopped. Say for example, if there is insufficient supply of the blood through the cerebral arteries, then what happens? The area in the cerebral cortex that will be damaged, that will be insufficient for the blood supply, and they will die, which is called as ischemia. So the person will gain ischemic stroke. The person will gain ischemic stroke. There are two types of stroke. One is the hemorrhagic, one is the ischemic. If there is insufficient supply of the blood to that area, to the meninges of the brain in the cerebral cortex, then that area will be damaged. That is called ischemia, and the person will get ischemic stroke. And the symptoms will appear in less than 24 hours. So that can also affect the speech area there, which is the Broca's speech area. Broca's area inside the central nervous system, that will be affected. So the person either you can say speak but not fluent speak. There will be slurred speech, or there will be slow speech, or there will be not proper pronunciation of the words, or the language might be stopped. So that's the sign and symptoms you will observe in that patient, in the stroke patient. You will observe in the stroke patient. Hemorrhagic, if there is, you can say occlusion, or there will be rupture of the artery, and the clot is there. It will causes edema inside the head.
They don't speak clearly.
And that clot makes the edema inside the head, and there will be the hemorrhage of the cerebral artery. Rupture of the artery, hemorrhage will occur. And the patient, if you are going to the neuro ward, so you will observe that the patients will be confused. They don't, you can say, integrate messages. They don't know about their caregivers who are standing in front of him. Either his or her son or daughter is there, either his father or her father is there, either their beloved ones are there, so they don't understand that who is standing in front of me. So they, because the theme is, I want to clarify you, is they don't identify the faces, because they were completely confused, in confusion state. So these are the stroke types, you can say. And the